Talk closer to the mic.
Yeah. Is this good right here?
Yeah, that's actually wonderful.
All right, word.
Just when you get into Jesse mode, lean back.
I got you. Let's do it. All right.
Oh, fucking loud.
Hey, what's going on, guys and gals? Welcome to the first ever Offended and Unfriended. My name is Jesse. This is JP. This is Gene. We're going to talk to you about some stuff.
Yes, we are.
What are we talking about today, guys?
Oh, you know what? Speaking
Wherever
of
you
which,
want to get started.
yeah.
Wherever.
This guy.
Only people knew, and Jesse has his sound on his phone.
Yeah.
He's Jesse. By the way,
Don't be sending him any facts right now. Thanks.
the irony is the big
Don't
guy
send him
with
anything.
the white guy with the dreadlocks is the loudest guy in the room. That's the fucked up part.
Yep.
Says
Right?
the
Isn't that
Italian
messed
guy.
up?
What does that even mean?
What do you mean?
Yeah. All right.
I am loud. I'm very Italian.
Where is it? Where is it? Because I don't care. We're inside my friend's house, indoors.
Uh-oh, here we go.
I like that you have your mask with you.
Yeah, I'm just representing your wife's, thing.
Yeah, I
Lost.
like it. It's a good mask.
Yeah,
Law.
I got it too.
Well, let's talk about it. How do you guys feel about this whole?
Well, we should get your opinion first.
I don't think you want mine.
Oh, yes, we.
I'll ask the questions
because
today.
I feel
How
like we
about
do.
that? How do you guys feel about this forceful state mandate?
Whoa. Wow, loaded.
Right in the asshole.
Yeah,
asshole.
fully loaded question.
How do you feel about the state mandate?
This state mandate, yeah, this forceful state mandate, because that's where it's going. I asked that because you both are still currently restaurant employees.
Yes.
As an ex,
Well,
I feel for you guys and what you have to go through right now.
you want to start?
I mean,
'Cause
here's what I think about masks. I have no real problem with it. I see a lot of people go crazy. I'm not too sure. I mean, I've heard some of the arguments here and there. I look at it this way. Let's look at how we got here. All right, so basically, this is just my rough interpretation, of course, but so there was something that happened in Wuhan. It traveled to Italy. A lot of people got sick, which we witnessed, we watched. It happened in
Sorry,
Spain.
JP, for your people.
It went to Spain. It happened, and then we sat there. We watched this coming, and then we watched 2 months of a commercial about washing our hands. I wasn't sure what was going on, but for 2 months they kept telling us
You
to
mean
wash our
proper
hands.
hygiene?
Yeah,
That
proper hygiene.
You should do anyway.
I sat there and I was
Okay.
like, what have people been doing all this time? But I immediately
Right.
stopped shaking hands.
Right.
But so then we had that, and then they talked about social distancing, which I'm not too big about people being in my face anyway. But
Yes.
Seems
so,
to be the common.
So
Yeah.
they said that, and then eventually we got to masks. So to me, how I've looked at it is that we obviously did a bad job at both of those things. So we obviously didn't wash enough hands. People are way too close to each other.
Well, what did you tell me when you see people in the bathroom at restaurants?
Yeah, and that's if you're a restaurant person and you want to know if you should wear a mask, if you walked into a bathroom and you see people not wash their hands and you have an issue with masks, you gotta think about that.
Well, what do they do with the water?
Here's the best part.
fucked up
Here's
part.
the best part. I go to the bathroom. People they don't wash their hands, but they have time to flick their hair. They put the water and they're like, I'm like, really? Like, what about the soap
man.
part and your hands part? But this is what they'll do. So when I think about masks, I'm like, I believe there's a large population of people
That are just filthy animals.
that have poor hygiene.
Let me ask you this. If you weren't a restaurant employee at the current,
Okay.
or let's just say you're out on your own,
Okay.
right? You're not working. You're just out enjoying a night, right?
Uh-huh.
You go to the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
You wash your hands every single time, or only when you get something on there?
If I walk into the bathroom, I wash
You
my
wash your
hands.
hands. John Paul?
First of all, I'm that guy.
I just want you guys.
No.
We're in the nest here.
No,
Are we talking about in a
we can be
restaurant, out
honest,
in a
like-
restaurant?
Can I tell you something?
No,
Yeah.
I'll leave the bathroom.
Just so
and
you
wash
know-
my
the
hands
bathroom,
sometimes.
right? You go,
Yeah.
you hang a line real quick, and you're out the
Sometimes,
bathroom, right?
listen,
You know
I
what
got
mean?
skills. Sometimes I don't even have to touch anything.
It's right. You just
Unzip, let it hang out.
Hang out. How you doing? Okay.
That's it.
All right. I'm just asking. Just want to set
Oh
some.
my God, my wife's gonna kill me on
And
this.
and you're talking to a guy who takes the tissue and turns the knob. Just so we know,
Right.
I'm not touching that either.
I'm
telling you the truth. And then I shoot a 3-pointer.
I tell you what.
I shoot a Kobe.
And then you Kobe.
I
yeah,
do
I
a
get you.
Kobe. Like, come
I
on.
tell you, I used to look. I don't want to say down on people like you. You know, the
I was ahead of my time.
The tissue
I was ahead of my time.
Bro, but I gotta say, it's that was revolutionary, and I bet you if more people did that, we could have stopped the spread of COVID. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying that, but when you talk about a mask, so why do I wear a mask? I wear a mask because you talk about the restaurant business and business in general. Right now, they're telling us you got to wear masks. So I technically can't make money if people don't follow that rule.
Right.
So before I even get into what I understand of the facts or the history of it or the medical perspective, just from a selfish, like I need to make money, I need people to go into the restaurant and do the right thing, which is wear a mask, and I have to wear one too, and this allows me to make money. And, for the record, you wear a mask, then you walk into the restaurant, you sit down, then you take it off. Just want to throw that out there. But people are going crazy. People are going crazy about wearing a mask for literally, I would say, all of 15 seconds or how fast you walk to a table. So realistically,
honestly, can I be honest with that? Yeah, and like we're both doing it right now, and I gotta sit there and watch people without their mask while I got sweat and spit in my beard because it's just sitting in my mask, which is disgusting. I'm Italian. I sweat a lot.
Yeah, we know.
I don't know if you. Oh, you do know. Oh, yeah, you do know. The smell. The part that annoys me the most, I want to say, is if the people that are just looking to yell at somebody.
I agree.
For the 15 seconds, because you know what? You had 4 drinks.
Yeah.
With your meal, because you have to anyway. So you have your 4 drinks. You get up to go to the bathroom because that's normally what you do. You get up to go to the bathroom, and someone's just looking for you to forget your mask and just ready to yell at you. Those are the people that piss me off because think about just your natural behavior.
Of righteousness has risen tremendously.
Yes, and that's where I get angry.
Well, I'll tell you this. I don't think. Okay, there's some self-righteousness in it, but I think
there's a lot of it.
No, but I think what's happened is that people have made masks into some polarizing thing where it's like
Agreed.
We're picking a side when you like when I wear a mask, trust me, the last thing I'm thinking about is politics. You know what I'm thinking about? Those random conversations I had with people where a spit flew right in my face.
All the time.
And I'm like, oh, bingo, B4. Like, I'm like.
Do you remember ever a time in your life where something like this was enforced, like where, the state or the powers that control our lives have forced something like this on us? Like, you all must wear this, otherwise you'll be hit with a fine. You'll get arrested in some cases. I'm just asking.
State parks where they don't let you skate, you're not allowed to skate.
Sounds like the suspenders at Fridays. No, go ahead.
For real.
You only have 13 pieces.
Oh my God! I got in. I got in after that. Thank God, I got in that.
You weren't around for Flare Days?
Nope.
Oh, you lucked out, bro.
You lucked out.
Oh,
No.
man.
Oh, disaster.
Well, you should just take it as an expression of yourself.
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm here
If
to
I
make,
could,
I'm here
if
to
I
make
could
some
do
jokes.
that,
That's
the pins will get me fired. Unfortunately,
man.
And the pin stab you in the middle
That's
of a
funny.
shift.
That's
'Cause
funny.
it opens up and you're bleeding.
I'm good.
So I don't know. I take this.
I mean, to answer your question, no. I'll be honest. I do not remember.
I don't care
a
about wearing the
time-
mask as much as it's annoying, and I do have asthma, and during the summer, it's really more like it's an allergic reaction of asthma. So like in the winter, like in the fall time, the springtime, I do need my inhaler.
Okay.
A lot because pollen, whatever, trees falling, whatever.
Sure.
This is the first summer where I've actually had to use it more, but that's also from wearing a mask.
Well, I mean, to be fair on that, like I feel like anyone who has seasonal allergies was heavily impacted this spring.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about now during the summer.
Bro, so am I.
I never
still,
use it, no matter how bad the spring is.
Melissa actually, she made fun of me. Well, not made fun of me. She was like poking fun at me last night because she's like, "Who gets a sinus infection in the in the beginning of August?" And I'm like,
"Oh my gosh, that's hilarious."
Yeah, I go, yeah. I don't
Taylor
know what's
does too.
going on, but I was all packed up and don't worry, I took my temperature. And I have no temperature, guys. I have no symptoms. This is just
Define sinus.
Seasonal allergies.
May have to Google
But
that.
we should be okay because we're sitting down. And I had a meal today with my drink, so we're all safe.
You want salad with that?
So
I want to know if there's other states doing that.
Doing what?
With the food, you got to have at least a sandwich. Wings don't count.
I'm not going to
though-
speak out of turn here, but no, I'm pretty sure it's only a King Cuomo thing.
Well, okay, but I'll say this. Okay, Cuomo gets a lot of heat.
Does he? He gets a lot of praise right now. Like, people are literally looking at him as the model.
I feel like that switched.
Okay, so we have
the
to be,
most part.
we have to be fair.
And all he's doing is passing blame right now.
No,
So-
but we have to be fair that we believe that New York, because once again, we have to go back in time. Every time we talk about the mask, the whole thing, the epidemic, we believe that New York was going to be an epicenter.
Of course.
We all thought that. It makes sense.
We have the most international travel, or at least
Exactly.
one of the highest international
exactly
travel. and,
major airports.
You know, sure. There's
the
a lot
population
of ins and outs.
density,
Yeah.
the city, the urban areas.
Shouldn't be a shock to anyone that New
So-
York City
So to me,
was affected the
Right.
most.
I expected New York to have extreme measures if we were actually going to win. So I feel like, here you go, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I would rather, if I were him, I would rather be yelled at or frustrate people and have people be safe than be wrong and have people die and people get sick. And I'll also tell you this, once the ball goes rolling in either direction, it's hard to stop. So even with safety, is it a little bit extreme? Yeah, because you have a lot of people who just don't listen. So I think that people who are good citizens or people who actually care about each other are automatically going to do the right thing. Now, how do you get people who are just the whatever, like it's about me and I really don't, whatever, to do things? Now you have to get into that mandate world. And that sucks.
But why, like, that is not what we as a country have been founded upon. Like, again, that's why I asked, like, do you remember ever...
Probably
and
1918 when the Spanish flu hit.
Right, but you guys
I
weren't
knew that.
alive for that.
No,
you
no,
guys
I'm just
are
making
older
a
than
point,
me.
though.
You know, that,
but
you
it
know what I'm
still
saying?
happened in America.
Okay,
when
sure.
The same.
And also, like, you can't, okay, pandemic, when you get an extreme situation, as Americans, we have to understand when there's an extreme situation, you have to deal with it in turn. And what drives me crazy about people in masks is I love to travel. 9/11 is almost 20 years ago. I still have to take my shoes off, my belt, my watch. Like, I have to get stripped naked to go through
Practically.
Right.
to go through a
For what,
detector, to
though?
go through an X-ray machine
For fear. Because of fear.
because of fear.
And
So
what
no-
was the boogeyman then?
It wasn't a boogeyman. He was he was real. Candyman. Someone said it and it popped up. Like, literally, buildings were knocked down. People were actually killed. It all really happened. Just like, you know, no matter how you feel about it, 150,000 people dead. Obviously, they're not all connected to us. We may not, you know, some people. I mean, I happen to know people, but there's not many people who actually know a large amount of people who've died from COVID.
I think it's very unfair to compare COVID-19, as we know right now, a natural occurring virus. You know, I mean, you could talk to some
Allegedly.
conspiracy theorists who think that it was created in a lab. And sure, and I get like there
And
might
they say
be some
that
evidence,
because it doesn't
but,
survive in sunlight. That's why they say
so
that.
they
That's
say,
where,
but
that's where the
you know, I don't know.
Then we'd all be on
I've
the
also
beach.
read that it can last on surfaces for up to 3 days.
in the beginning it
That
said
changed,
that,
you know,
and then
that
that changed.
changed,
Though.
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
The sunlight
narrative
thing
has
came
changed
later.
It's not the
often,
no. It's
and
not. Hold on.
brand
brings
new.
me back.
It's
Hold
not
on,
the
it's not
narrative.
new though. That's the thing. Mika
brand new.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
But
say
it's
Mika
not the-
had coronavirus 2 years ago. You
It's a
know,
different
and it's
coronavirus.
sure it's
Yes.
a different strain of coronavirus, right? So this isn't going away.
common cold
There
is
is no. You know, waving of a magic wand of it goes away. It doesn't.
No,
It's a virus. It's here to stay. We're gonna have to treat it
Like the flu.
as so, like every other one. You know, it just I don't understand why we're putting so much focus on something that. I mean, from my understanding of what I read just a few days ago, the flu 2 years ago, and I remember Melissa had it when she was like 30-something weeks pregnant with Lincoln. And it was awful. But that flu 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure the numbers are still greater than what COVID is now. We didn't shut down. Our kids weren't being held from school. You guys weren't put under these strict restrictions where you have the SLA walking into bars, walking into bars with police officers strapped.
And I've seen them.
That is nothing.
No, it
Right.
happens.
I mean, that is nothing but the state's show of force, authority show of force. And why? Why are we there?
I won't go that far.
For a 0.04% mortality rate?
I don't think,
I'm not trying to knock this. I'm not one of these corona hoaxers. You know, obviously it's a real.
I don't think
my son had it. You know, Lincoln had it. We had to be quarantined for 22 days. Not 14. Thank you very much, New York State and the CDC. And I believe that Lincoln's was a false positive because he had a temperature for a day. By the next day,
it burns through some people in a day or two.
Right, and I understand.
It's not necessarily a false positive.
So this is my passion right now is coming from what the school districts are letting out. And that's what I see right now. This is why the mask things are raising a bit more of an alarm for me because it seems like it is just about control.
Yeah, but I'm going to say a couple things. I don't think it's like you highlight the mortality rate. I don't think that this is what this is about. I think that the feeling from all the reading and the news and what I've gathered is it's the transmission. Mm-hmm. It's that this transmits in a way
incubation period. That's what it is.
Yeah, that we
100% what it is.
That we don't understand. So, you know,
look at it this way. If you get the common flu, I think the incubation period was 3 days. That's the median incubation period. Mm-hmm. 3 days. So you can, if you get it on a Tuesday, you're not going out that weekend.
Yeah.
Right?
You're done.
You get the coronavirus on a Tuesday, it's 5 to 6 days.
No, I think that was changed because
it's still that. It's still 5 to 6 days.
It was 14 days.
It was 14, right?
No.
Hold on.
Incubation period.
Let's talk about
days.
the timeline here. It's people were saying that's why you need to quarantine for 14 days because you could not show symptoms for that long, and now that has now been. They're saying 3 days. 3 days.
I know
5 to 6 is what I've seen.
If you have symptoms. But 3 days.
Yeah, but
and you're boom, and you have it. Or if you come in contact with it, they tell you to wait 3 days to take a coronavirus test now. So I mean, again, and I'm not trying to make a point on the switching of information. That was going to happen regardless because it was a new thing, right?
Yes.
Like, so I'm not trying to be one of those guys who's but they said 14 and then it was 6 and now it's 3. It's all.
I haven't seen
that's
3
not
yet
what I'm saying
for coronavirus.
No, but listen,
I've only seen 5 to 6, which in that case that could be double.
I just
of
feel
what a flu is.
This is again another fear mongering push by the media.
Yeah,
and by
of course.
I don't know. I don't know if it's that deep.
Would it be this bad if it wasn't an election year? All right, I'd put it to you this way: Stony Brook Hospital, one of the best hospitals.
Okay.
On the East Coast for sure. You know, it's definitely ranked in the country. Right. When I got sick down in Baltimore or Annapolis, they said, "Oh, you're from Long Island. You should probably just go home and go to Stony Brook." Like that was their advice at Annapolis General to me.
Wow.
Right?
I can see
so
that.
Stony Brook.
Was that the Fetty Wap eye incident?
That was the
Fetty Wap eye
incident. Did Jesse's having a stroke on tour?
Fetty Wap because
it was a very stressful tour. We ran out of gas. We had to push the van a couple of blocks to get to the venue. Late loading. We rocked a show. You know,
Jesse woke up with one eye.
Jesse woke up with an eye spinning in his head.
His eye was looking that way. He was looking that way.
Yeah, it was bad. I was scared. I cried. That was an awakening moment for me, actually, in my life because I was sitting in there. Amy, who was our merch girl at the time, she was sitting there with me, and it sounds weird. I could only think about my kids, and it messed me up. You know, it did. It messed me up.
Was Avery in?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I was like, what am I doing right now? Like. I'm on tour. We're struggling. You know, I don't know if I'm going to get my eye back. And, this is a bad situation. It was terrible.
It came back.
Whatever. Speaking of.
It's about to come back.
So nonetheless, the Maryland.
Speaking of, right, we have a good buddy, Zulo, right? Steve, he was working a few weeks over at Stony Brook, setting up their outside facilities, the tents, because the hospital was getting so overwhelmed and so crowded.
To get overwhelmed.
Right, and it didn't.
Okay, but I still rather be safe than sorry.
I agree, and I'm not knocking that. Wonderful. Let's spend thousands and thousands and thousands of tax dollars to set something up just for safety. I agree. I'm with it.
Safe.
Fine. Why now, if we on Long Island, we are under 1% infection rate,
okay,
right? Again, the mortality rate is still 0.04, and we're still Cuomo is talking 3 years of this. So
No,
now,
but
where my passion comes, it's not from the guy, the jerks who were ranting and raving about we got to open up restaurants because we want to go drink, and now they're giving you guys hard times, right? I'm not talking about. I'm looking at my kids right now, who are now losing recess, losing gym, no physical education, no cafeteria lunch. Right? No art class, no music class.
Them dirty little brats
Like
eat
what
at
is
their desk.
like
What do you
this
mean?
is this is going to affect our children in such a way,
I
more
agree.
so than they might get. You're going to tell me you're going to keep first, second graders socially distancing? Yeah, maybe. You know what? You're right. Maybe they comply very well because they're very pliable.
But that's the
But
so are you saying you don't want them to go back to school?
I want my kids to go back to school definitely because this is going to open up a completely different.
I mean, I'm
completely
trying to,
different
I'm trying-
monster.
Jess has
Josh,
got a
you're
lot of
going.
can openers.
Am I ready to
and
send
cans.
my kids to indoctrination camp? No.
What's indoctrination? What do you mean?
Public schools where the federal government decides the curriculum and there was laugh all you want.
I
on
will
this
agree
one.
though. Some of the shit's stupid.
There was just
I gotta admit.
there was just a teacher who was caught saying leaked online saying that he's against virtual learning because now the parents are going to be able to hear how they're brainwashing their kids. Those were
did he use the word brainwashing?
He used the word brainwash.
Yeah, but
he said parents are going to have too much of an input for us to be impactful. And what I'm mostly worried about are conservative parents. When I read that, I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, but
They're worried about my kid is
crazy.
perfect parents. That's what they're worried about.
That's one.
Gene.
Listen, I can't believe.
I
by
understand
and large,
that's one
Yeah, I can't believe
teacher.
by and large there's a plot of liberal teachers that are gonna brainwash American children.
I mean, it's
like
it's been happening.
There's gonna be some, sure, maybe.
like-
your children cannot get any more brainwashed by liberal teachers than they do by television.
Well, I mean, that's not
Agreed.
entirely true because
They're adults.
Depending what they watch, depending what they
First
watch.
of all, what kid is watching television anymore?
What kid is
You know what I
not?
mean?
All right, YouTube.
You'll be shocked.
YouTube, but that's highly
YouTube's
monitored.
even worse. Are
That's
you kidding
highly
me?
monitored.
YouTube's worse. I
YouTube's
agree.
worse. Listen,
I know because I watch
controls
it.
on there.
Listen, cartoons are worse. Cartoons, like we all know.
What do you mean cartoons are worse? They're fantastic. Give
They've
you an
been bad since
imagination.
Bugs
I'll watch
Bunny. They've been,
SpongeBob.
they've been brainwashing us
Come
since
on.
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs
Since
Bunny's
Daffy
the
Duck.
best.
It's all been weird. It's all been
This
weird,
is
and we know
crazy.
this.
What do you
Bro,
mean?
I'm just saying,
You dare? How dare
I'm not
you?
gonna go after the cartoons, but I'm saying if you really go after the cartoons,
You're gonna go after my
And
bug.
you-
You're gonna go after Looney Tunes.
I'm
You
just
have
saying,
the
if you go
balls.
after Looney Tunes and some things are a little
should be
weird.
ashamed.
Daffy and
All right, so
Bugs,
yeah.
there's a lot.
What's
couple
weird
things.
about 'em?
I'm just saying that I sit back and I look at it. I'm like, the Elmer Fudd trying to shoot people.
Ah, come
Good.
on, Gene.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying.
Let me tell you, you grew up watching that. You turned
Yes.
out all right.
Yeah, because
Are you running around shooting people?
no, my mom explained me a lot.
You're right.
So-
you had
Alright.
good parenting.
That's my
which
point.
Is,
So
this is
my thing is
the
I
theme of the
don't
last
see
5
how
years.
how teachers are going to give children anything that's that more. They have a curriculum. Like, what do you think they're going to teach them? Like, what more can come
right.
out
Bro,
now
you can-
that hasn't come out?
You could ask older history teachers that are still teaching, that are like from the old school, that are fed up. Like I come from a family of teachers here, so I have spoken to other older teachers and whatnot.
Okay,
Their curriculum has changed. There are aspects of United States history that they are not allowed to teach
Yeah, but
anymore.
I don't want to drive the car left and right, but seriously, if there was a topic that I think is a fail, like big F in America education, it's got to be history.
It is, 'cause
Like you can't like listen. Just go
What
on.
do you mean?
Go on Facebook. Scroll down.
I understand.
Go on Facebook and scroll down.
I learned more about history at 30 years old than I did at
Okay.
16,
Can I ask a question?
17,
Well, okay, but hold on.
Where do you
Now-
want to
And I
start?
learned
Okay.
how many of these
Where do
things,
you wanna
what you
start?
learned in school, really, this is what
we can
really
start-
happened.
we-
That's-
we
that
can-
shit
You
happens
guys
all the
want to
time.
dive deep? Is this sink or swim right now? Are we sink or swimming? Are we going to swim?
Wherever
Because
you
if
want-
we're going to swim in education right now,
No, but
let's
I
go
said
swim.
history. Education.
The way that our public school systems
sucked
are
at
set
school.
up is horrible anyway. You're forcing kids. We teach kids improper right now, especially because of this alone.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay?
No, but you're talking about currently, or we've always.
I think always. I think that's why we've had like a lot of dropout rates and unsuccessful rates, or just satisfactory, because most people don't learn by getting fed information and being forced to memorize it. Most kids, like if you go to like specialized school, like okay, Melissa has explained to me what
BOCES.
she had to go through in law school, right? And the way they teach in law school, I forget what the method is called. It's like a specific method. I'm blanking on it right now, but it's more of like a group learning thing where you don't sit there and listen to a professor lecture you for 45 minutes and you try to retain as much information.
I'm not agreeing.
You work on things together.
I'm not agreeing with the
okay,
system,
so that's
but-
just a fail
but
in the
you gotta-
way we teach.
But you have to go by the
in
numbers.
my opinion.
How can you teach that many people?
There are private schools that do it beautifully, like Montessori schools. Like
private, and you just said it, they're private schools, so that means that they're being paid lots of money.
Yes.
So
Well, so with
how
public
can
schools,
we
what are you talking about?
educate?
No, by the students.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Parents. By the
But
students'
parents.
parents.
by the community.
I
You
don't
know,
think
we
there's-
it's the
Yeah,
same
somebody's
thing.
doing
I don't think
Yes,
there's
We
enough
pay.
money going into public schools to do that because I listen to teachers talk about having to buy supplies for kids.
What do you
with their
mean you
own
don't
money.
think? Okay,
I'm
that's
just
another
telling
one.
you-
We could talk about that.
I'm telling you, I hear it all the time because as
Yes.
somebody,
Yes,
as a
I know
city
about
guy,
that as
as
well.
a city kid, I will tell you there are teachers that will tell you that I have to buy pencils for kids sometimes.
Oh, I agree. Yes,
so
yes.
how can that
Just
same
stuff to hang
school-
in the class.
That's what
They
I'm saying.
buy that too.
So how can that school
Well,
have enough
again-
money to then have a nice little forum where children are learning? And like I like that idea, but realistically, the public system is based on trying to maximize as much information giving to as many
Yes,
kids
but that's been
as
happening.
possible. So it's a process.
Okay, my stepmother was
Okay.
a elementary school teacher her whole life.
Okay.
In Longwood, in the district that we're sitting in right now.
Okay.
Longwood has a lot of low income families.
Okay.
And so what she used to do every single school year is, she had 20 kids in her class. She would buy 20 backpacks, 40 notebooks.
20
Pens,
backpacks.
blah, blah, blah,
Giving them
and,
backpacks?
and she would put them on.
serious.
She
That's
would
awesome.
put them on every desk. So when every kid walked in, no one felt excluded. No one felt like.
And this is a public
'cause
school?
This is a public school. This is
Okay,
what she
well,
used to
I'm
do.
solid.
But she used to do that for her students because that's
Which
the
is
way that
awesome.
she taught. That's beautiful.
But that's
and
above
I'm
and
not.
beyond.
And I'm not knocking teachers. Okay, like me saying what I'm saying about the public school system. It's not me knocking on teachers. I think teachers have a very underappreciated job. Again, I come from a family of educators.
Okay.
And I just think that the system that tells them what to do is what is flawed.
Yeah, but there has to be a guideline.
Why do we
How-
have?
how
Why
will
does
you teach?
every single school have a superintendent that gets paid 6 figures, that has an assistant, a superintendent? Now every single it's
Going off that.
wasteful.
What was his name
Well,
that
I'm
ran?
just
What
saying,
was his name that ran on that?
Larry Sharp.
Yeah, it was
Larry Sharp.
He's
Brilliant.
he's
I
doing
think
the
this
Larry
guy
Sharp.
is brilliant.
What do you wanna do?
He pointed
This.
this out.
I know, but what's the solution?
He
What do you want
wanted-
to do?
Well, the way
Get
he
rid of
explained
it.
it was
So get rid of what?
Get rid of all the unnecessary money and then put those salaries
Into where?
Back
Into
put
the-
it
in the
back
classroom?
into the classrooms where it should be going. Taxpayer dollars that are paying for public schools shouldn't be going to fattening superintendents' pockets. It should be going into
here's-
the classroom
here-
that is molding the minds. And I personally think that we should have a say in what the curriculum
Let's
is.
say I agree with you. So,
Maybe.
No, no,
Hypothetically.
I'm not
I
saying.
just feel like that's
Parallel
logic.
universe.
I don't agree. I'm just saying, let's say I did agree. Are you willing to sacrifice, what, 3 to 4 years or a decade of education to get this right? Because that's what would happen.
What do you mean? Our education system is in shambles
I know,
right now.
and you're
Now's
think-
the perfect
and
time to do it.
Your assumption is that you're going to make it better.
I just
Because
think
it
this
could be worse,
idea.
right? Arguably,
No. I mean,
it could get worse.
Would it be worse?
I don't know. I'm just saying, arguably, it could get
Put it
worse.
to you this way.
Because I can tell right now, I blink my eyes.
A lot of
and
states-
kids do math differently. I don't have kids.
We don't even-
I literally went to a bar, came back,
the
and
worst
kids are doing
math.
some weird stuff with math, and I'm like, woo.
Well,
I'm glad I
again-
don't have to do that.
again,
because I don't
to
know what
be
they're
teach
doing.
it to a kid.
To be fair to Common Core, not
Okay.
that I agree with it or support
Okay.
it,
Oh,
but
no. Please, God.
there are some other people like okay, Melissa was one of them too. She was like, no, it actually makes sense.
Why?
If you break it down, it doesn't make sense to me because I wasn't taught mathematics
Okay.
that way. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I think it's unnecessary
That goes for
steps.
anything.
I
you
know, but my thing
I
is-
also think it's very
No, but
funny how
my-
your teachers back in the day, you're not going to walk around with a calculator in your pocket, are you?
But
Yeah.
Well,
but now,
Thanks, Steve.
The reason I bring that up too is because so now you're going to go through this transformation where we're going to attempt to fix the whole thing. There's no way that doesn't create a bigger gap with parents. Like, in my opinion, I think a large problem with the public school system, the education system in America, is that parents are not engaged, and that is not a knock on parents. They work 2 jobs. There's a lot going on.
oh, I disagree. I think that
I think they're not as engaged.
Or they're
as a
over
country.
engaged.
you're going to
I
see
don't think so. I
you're
think
going to
they're
see a general
over-opinionated.
theme.
Some-
I think they're over opinionated. It's one thing to
You're
say
gonna see a general
this
theme
sucks
out of
and
me,
that
Gene.
sucks, and I sit down and do homework with kids, and because listen, I came from a
Yeah,
house.
I didn't
came
sit
from
down with myself to
I
do
came from a
homework.
household
There's
where
a
my
problem
mom
there.
sat down with me. I had to explain what I learned that day. It was like, holy cow, I'm going to class twice. Like, what was this about? So there was a lot of, but I know for a fact that other kids didn't go through that. I'm an only child, so I had that opportunity. I can imagine if there's 2, 3 kids running around the house, no one's sitting with 5 sets of homework and now analyzing 5 social studies or whatever it's called these days.
I mean, homework's ridiculous too, but
You don't like
I
homework?
do do agree with the homework thing.
Oh, stop. You gotta
bro,
like
I mean,
homework.
homework is why? Do you
What
get
do you
homework?
mean?
Do you get homework from your job?
Yes, you do.
What?
Well, that's the difference. We
You
all
like homework?
Hold on, time out. We all work in restaurants, right? The difference between the idiot that keeps messing up orders and the one that doesn't is the guy who read the menu. Some people took the menu home and read it, and someone's like, I don't need to know this. What do I need that? It's in the computer. I just press buttons. Beep, 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 beep.
I have
I learn
never
over time.
I have never
Figure
brought
it
a
out.
menu
Yeah,
home
just
to
figure it out.
study a menu.
I'll take a steak.
did once.
Again, maybe it's just me.
Did once,
you're right.
but they tested me.
I was going to say I
They tested
usually
me.
created the menu in the restaurant.
This is Jesse
Show
serving
off.
your
Yeah.
table.
Name drop.
I'll take a steak. How about a mistake? Boom. Because I don't know. I didn't read the menu. Who does homework?
What are you talking about? It's general knowledge. Can you open up a screen and go cheeseburger, medium? You're a waiter.
Okay. Until I'm just saying.
You were a waiter.
That's what I'm saying. He just
You
said-
know that-
he said-
that shit
that's so not
happens.
true.
What
That's
are
so
you
not
talking
true.
How many times did your fat fingers you hit well done?
You're gonna and then you go back and you put in
just saying.
medium. What are you talking about?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Jesse, you were on service bar, so you were okay with the server going, I'll take a mojito with vodka, because I just pressed vodka and the mojito button was right there too. Because that's not a big deal.
What do you mean?
Because mojitos get rum, but that's not a big deal. He didn't read the menu. He just hit vodka mojito. What's the big deal? Oh, just
Jesse
make it
never
cool.
yelled at anyone for that.
Oh, no, you never yelled at service bar.
Ever.
That never happened.
Called him stupid. Fucking stupid.
crazy, man.
You not be able to do that.
Where's my
are
pina colada with tequila? What are you talking about?
What do you
I didn't read the menu. You don't need to. Don't worry about it.
No, you
It's
know
a
what I
coconut
did?
margarita.
I went, it's right here. That's what I did. If you rang in a mojito with vodka, I made a mojito. Here you go.
With vodka.
With vodka?
Yeah.
Oh, he said, yeah.
No, not with vodka. I made a regular mojito. Here
what-
you go.
But
Unless you SI'd it properly,
how would you ask that problem? That means at some point you have to study something.
What does SI
or
stand
you just have to be a
What does
veteran.
SI stand
I don't know.
for?
Special instruction.
Oh my God, you're going back. I figured I'd say that for people watching who have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm just saying.
He's going in on lingo that I don't
Oh, my
even know.
bad. All right, I'm sorry. We're getting off topic here, though.
I'm saying I think that
Ah.
the kids, the parent. Okay, it's
the first
It's
one.
a 3-step process. It's the children, it's the parent, it's the teachers, and the parents. And I think that I've never gotten the full confidence, whether it's New York, whether it's the United States, that I believe that it's a cohesive marriage where everyone understands what needs to be done to educate and raise children. And you're talking about a guy that
Can I
has
say this?
professionally said, what school do you come from? Because when people say something really stupid, we've all done it, where we've looked at them and like, how do you not know that? And that how do you not know that feeling is what I'm most afraid of in America. Like, how do you not know that? And you know when I see this feeling all the time? On Facebook. Like,
Get off Facebook.
When someone posts,
I did.
No, when someone posts,
Facebook.
when someone
I want to ask you this.
somebody
though.
posts something and you're like, how do you not know that? Like, how do you not know certain basic things? And this happens all
Well,
the time.
I mean that's again.
And
it
that's
goes to
back
what
to-
is basic, right? You know,
there
like
we go. We have
you.
to have
You
a-
have informed me about some things that tilted my head, where I was just like, "What? No, come on, that's not real. That's not a thing." And you gave me that look of,
How do you not know
Really?
that?
"What do you mean?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's my point. So, as a
I mean-
country, we have to reach a certain level of what is basic. So the school system is
I'll
a
give
lot
you
more
basic.
complicated.
I'll give you
than
something
people
basic.
think. Go
Let me
ahead.
ask you this, right? So we have issues in this country, right? Systems or areas, right? So education, right? Public education is one of them. Public health is another one, right? Public housing
Yes.
is another one. These are all issues, like
Washing
problems that
hands.
we have here, right?
Washing hands.
What is the common
that's how we got
denominator?
here.
What's
Okay.
the common denominator
got
in
here.
all of these issued problems?
Economics.
Uncle Sam.
Ooh.
Uncle Sam
Why?
is the problem.
Why?
Uncle Sam is the
Jesse
common
hates the
denominator.
government.
Everything. It's not that I hate the government. I don't hate
He
the
dislikes
government.
the government.
No, government is
He frowns
necessary,
upon the government?
But I think
I'm
that
a fine one.
the
I'll find a
government,
word.
the government, just as humans, as just nature,
Are
when
humans.
when enough people belly up to you, you overstep your bounds. You take a good running government is afraid of its people. We don't have that. We now have people that are afraid of our government, and that's a problem.
Well, that's because
But
you have a bunch of people that agree foolishly and blindly with everything. I'm going to tell you what politics in today's society has become. Ready?
Okay.
I have one burning platform that means everything to me. And as long as you defend that, no matter what else you do,
Yep.
I can
I'm good.
give two craps.
Right. Right.
I have people that will sit there, have full-blown arguments with me about something that I just don't care about. But that is exactly why they'll vote for a candidate. Because
One thing.
One thing.
They'll sacrifice
I'm
everything.
like,
Sure.
I'm like, is that really a big deal? How do you not see that as a big deal? I'm like,
Sure,
I'm
sure.
like,
Now here's
time,
a little.
location, education, the way I raised, where I live. That's not a big
Right.
thing
Well, I
to
mean,
me.
right.
That's not a big
Exactly.
thing.
But that's the beauty. And now this is where I have the main issue is with tribalism and how that has infected us. This two-party system has completely driven us away from the real, feeling of life, which is individual power. And once people can remember that you hold individual power, you don't need the state to rule you anymore. You don't need a leader. Why do I laugh most of the things off about Trump? And why did I never get all crazy about, how progressive Obama was? Because it doesn't matter to me who the president is. Who
agree.
are you? You're just a silly face for people to point the finger at. What do you really do? We have a strong, we have a strong enough ground or base to our system of checks and balances. The problem is that you get the cronyism, and then that's how things get all fucking corrupted. And then, we're here where we're at.
Now there's an argument. There's an argument on something.
Strip it down back to its basic bones, make a small government, and then I believe your corruption goes away.
Yeah, but I don't know
Because you get rid of it all.
I don't know how you can have a small federal government. We have too many states. Like this isn't.
What do you mean?
This
Exact-
isn't
the
13
states,
colonies.
the states
like,
are their own form of government too. We do that anyway.
and what have we learned?
I think
just recently about states having their own form of government. They cannot cross collaborate. Because if they did, we wouldn't even be arguing about masks. Because realistically, some did it well, some didn't do it well.
Come on.
Like, what do you mean? Come on! Like a bunch of governors can't pick up the phone because based on what party line they're on,
Right.
they can't say, "Yo,
Oh,
this."
again,
listen,
that's-
I'm gonna say
sure.
something
In public.
Sure.
and this is
They can't do
this is
that.
from a corporate background because you guys also work for corporate. This is why
mind me.
corporations work very well. Ready? I run a store in Brooklyn. Someone runs a store in Florida. Someone runs a store in Vegas. We go to a stupid meeting where someone is in charge. And you know what we do? Best practices. This is what works in my store. Time out, but this is certain things you need to know about my store.
Sure.
Demographic,
Sure, sure.
people. This is, and then together they go boom, and
You're talking about the structure of successful corporate restaurants. Like TGI Fridays did that beautifully worldwide.
Okay,
for
so-
a very long
so
time.
now-
Right. Miller's Ale House did that very well on.
Did
on
they?
They really did on their inner structure and working, because it's exactly like what Gene says.
First confession, please don't come after me. I threw out green books on week 2 of training. Sorry.
He used to hide the drink menu so
I
you
used to
don't have
hide
to
the
make the
drink
new
menu.
drinks.
Ain't nobody making none of that. None of that. It's too
kept
busy.
that going.
We're 3 deep.
Oh, yeah, that's
But yeah, I threw out the green books. I finally got it off my chest years later. Woo!
I just found my original Fridays purple book.
Oh, I throw that away
You know,
too
that
if you can.
stacked one.
Yeah.
I never got any of that shit.
But the
At
point
least I don't remember. I probably did, but I probably threw it out.
But the point is, corporations, when money's on the line, have the ability to understand the bigger goal, which is obviously profit. So they are able to align and figure out what needs to be done, and then universally they can open stores anywhere and people just follow as a guideline. So when we have all these states, if they were able to listen,
Riddle me this
if
one.
you want, hold on, if you want to have 9 periods and his state wants to have 7 periods because his classes go an hour and yours go 45 minutes. I understand
well,
that.
I went to high school in 2 different states, so yeah, they ran completely different.
and I'm okay with that. But my
You had
Actually,
You had an
no, I
open
didn't go to.
campus
I
in
went to
Florida.
schools in different in different
You had
states.
open campuses in Florida.
Yes, but I went to 2 different high schools in the same city, and they ran them differently.
and I'm okay with that, as long as once again
But the curriculum was the same.
you have to leave both schools being able to know certain things. Like what's scary is that, okay, we live in a more fluid world. People move all around the United States. You know, I grew up here. You see it all the time. I grew up here. I live here, blah, blah. And to me, it's like when you then interact with others, there's some basic knowledge that we dismiss because it doesn't mean anything to us as you learn it. But it does come into play when you interact with people.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have
Sure.
to be realistic about that.
Well,
and most of it, believe it or not, comes back into your history, social studies, because it's not the math. That's not what changes.
That's what I was
You know
getting
what
at before,
It's
is that
dealing with people and understanding people and
School nowadays it should be different anyway, because it
should have evolved. I'll give you that. There should be some evolution.
This is what
A little bit.
I was explaining to my mother, right? Me and my mom, because we've been at odds about what I'm doing with my daughter this year.
Okay.
She's supposed to go into kindergarten. I don't feel comfortable sending her to school, not because of coronavirus, but because of all of the other things that are attached to it. Like I said, the no recess, the no gym, the no social interaction with kids.
Kindergarten is recess.
But that's exactly. But that's why you go to. This is why you go to school, is to learn social interaction.
Yeah, but
especially nowadays, we should be revamping school to show kids how to find information, not to sit there and gruelingly memorize information. Do you use anything that you learned in any of your 12, 13 years of school?
Okay,
other than your social interaction skills?
I can tell
that
you how many
made?
times that I've paid for something and corrected the cash register lady to get my change back. I'm like, yo, you have a calculator and you still owe me 13 cents. Like how did
you
that
learn
happen?
that? Did you learn that in high school economics? Or did you
I
learn
learned that in like
basic
5th
math?
grade. Like I know I can multiply, and I'm like, what
In
the hell is
basic
happening?
math.
You owe me $1,
Right.
Like, you know, like
Basic math. That's what I'm saying.
back to
But-
basic. There has to be a basic. There has to be a
Sure,
basic.
sure. So again, my issues are sending her off to that, because this goes a little bit deeper.
But I
as
feel
well
like she'll
now.
have less
And
social interaction at your house than she
you know,
will in the school.
She'll have more. She'll
Less.
have
Less.
now going to school. She'll have less.
No, but she'll have less if you keep her home.
Maybe,
Not
but no,
maybe.
that's
There'll
not true.
be-
No, she will.
that's-
She'll have less. There will be
do you mean?
less children in your house. than
Regardless if they-
regardless of
Oh,
their
no,
recess.
hold on, because we're talking about setting up a co-op, like a co-ed cooperative with other families who feel the same way, that have kids the same age. We already have like 7 of them that are ready to jump on board, and we're going to pay a retired elementary school teacher to teach our kids.
Going straight prairie.
You know what
Little
I'm saying?
house in the prairie
Yeah,
shit
Sounds
right
like,
there.
yeah, sounds like
That's
he
one of
opened
the-
up a COVID private school. Like, wow. Okay. No, bro. Listen.
Yeah,
Hey,
you want to get in
whatever.
on this? I'll take some investment money.
Hey,
I got no
yeah,
kids,
so
but-
my
Wow, okay.
other point is, and this is, heads up feminists, you're
I'll
not going
say
to like this one.
touche.
But I don't want to send my kid to school and have her for the next 3 years under King Cuomo's guidelines.
Leave the guy alone.
Feel
Cuomo's not doing it for you.
that it's okay for someone else to tell her what she can do with her body. Okay? For her to be forced to wear a mask, for some stranger to come up and take her temperature and ask her personal information like that. No, not cool. You save your personal information for your doctor, and you don't let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do with your body. That's the way I raise my
Can you tell he's been penting this up for the
You're
last...
driving me crazy
How long?
because I've never asked you this before, but now I'm forced to ask.
I'm sorry
Do you
for the
believe in abortion?
pro-lifers.
I didn't want to.
I was
do
thinking
this,
it
but like
too.
you just brought this. Like I'm lost here. Do you believe in abortion?
Exactly. And that's the point.
This is a hot button issue.
It's a yes or no, but I mean you can expand, but it's a yes or no.
I mean, do I believe people
Do you believe in
should-
a woman's right to choose? You can't take a deep breath. You just had a whole
It's a
conversation.
very different- it's a
about
very
the right.
hard-
You just had a whole monologue about the right, your body, and
I was
this.
thinking it. He was saying it.
As a...
All I'm saying.
Or if you want a basic answer, no, I'm pro-life.
So,
Okay.
Because I believe that why doesn't the baby get to make a decision if he or she gets to live or die?
Why do you get
Because
to tell
that's-
what your kid to do?
What do you mean?
Why do you have to tell you what your kid to do? Because she don't know
yeah.
anything.
Why can't the kid
Literally.
make a decision?
What do you mean?
She doesn't know anything.
How come no one's ever asked a child if they want to go to school?
Of course they do. I asked Abelie this.
And she said you want to go to school.
And she
Of course
says,
she
I
did.
don't want to go to school if I get no recess and I can't play with my friends. That's what she said to me. And I said, well, Abelie, you
How did she
have
know
to-
about the no recess part?
Because I told her.
So you loaded up the argument to make her not want to go to school.
No, I said, Abelie.
Anyway, but also
No,
he's being
I gave-
honest with his
No, you're
kid.
being honest.
I gave her- I gave her
You said you can go to
options.
school, but you won't
I
have
said,
this,
listen,
this, that.
if you go to-
say, Gene, I'm going to give you this, but you're not going to have this, like, it's...
I said,
I didn't want to
Abelie,
go to school with
Not
recess,
to mention
so
recess.
it don't matter.
Not to mention recess is the coolest part, right?
Well, you gotta
Sure.
remember, she's already been...
Lunch is the
she's
second coolest
also-
part, and then gym.
She already went to school. Like, she went through
That's what I'm
almost a
saying.
full year of preschool until that was cut off. Because
right.
of COVID.
Yeah, but-
so she got a taste of school. She got a taste of friends. You know, like she
Yeah,
was
but can
so...
I ask you a question?
And she's
It was
gonna be a
hard-
nerd.
With everything with COVID,
She's
with everything
got
with
too
COVID,
much brain power.
do
That
you,
girl.
You believe in recess? That you think they should have recess?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do
course.
realize recess, like...
Okay, maybe
okay.
hold on, wait. Maybe I should have said
Well,
this.
my
because,
recess was
you
at
know
the
what?
end.
Because Phil even said this to me this morning, and I forgot to say this off rip. I don't believe coronavirus is as bad as everyone's making it out to be.
Okay,
I think it's completely blown up out of proportion. I'm not saying that it's a hoax. I am very well aware that it's real. I'm very well aware that it's very deadly to certain people.
Yeah, got it.
And I'm not saying that, but I think that if the children are the future, let's give them the proper tools
But here's my
grow on.
Here's my one thing, because let's rewind back a little bit. We talked about Corona in the beginning when we talked about masks. Wash your hands, social distance. 2 things kids can't do.
Agreed. Well,
So-
you know what? Hold on. No, I disagree on this because here's
There's
what?
no sinks in the schoolyard.
Here's another
I
one.
mean,
I
I don't
know
know
this-
what the schools are like out here.
I'm not
But
trying
I
to, like,
know
just throw
where
out-
we went to school, water fountain, I guess, but like no soap. Like
So my stepmother also runs a cheerleading camp every single summer.
Okay.
And this year they were obviously,
canceled.
but they weren't because
Oh,
they
nice.
were able
To
to
socially distance and do all this stuff.
So
Figure it out.
what she was worried about was
pyramid.
all of the kids
pyramid.
adhering to the new rules, the new guidelines. And
Okay.
she said that, to be honest with you, after day 2, I started getting teared up because the younger kids were the ones that were doing it the best. They adhered to the social distancing. They kept washing their hands. They kept going over to the table that had the hand sanitizer on, and they would hand sanitize. They wouldn't use each other's crayons. They stayed with the crayons that they had, that their parents sent with them in their bag. And she was like, it was us. It was the older people, like her,
struggled. Yeah, I get it.
who struggled to break their normal habits and, comply to these new ones. So, no, I think that, and I get that because kids will be fine. Sure, I'm probably blowing this a little bit up out of proportion. But again, it's my kid. And
Fair enough.
Of course.
if you both
of
had
course.
kids that were entering
Yeah,
school, you
fair.
might feel the same way.
Yeah.
You might not. You might be like some other parents that I've talked to that are like, no way, my kid's not going to school because they're overly feared about coronavirus. I'm saying my kid's not going to school because I don't want her to feel like she has to live in a world where she must obey by state rules that are ridiculous.
But if
Yeah, but
you can
what are
teach
these
your
rules
kid
that-
enough.
I don't know what rules are that ridiculous.
It's just the mask rule. He doesn't like the mask rule.
like it's one.
I
like,
think it's
they can't
any,
wear certain
any,
things to school. You know that,
any
right?
decision to take away someone's choice is not for me. That's it. Unless we're talking about fixing something where freedom is involved, then that's for me.
I
But
get
the
it,
minute
Jess,
that
but like
that
schools
not,
have always been telling us what to do, what to
That's what I'm
wear,
saying.
all the time.
There's a bell that
when you
rings.
went,
that
they
has
did it.
constantly changed. That's why when we were growing up, there wasn't a
You couldn't have shorts
dress
past your
code.
fingers.
And now you
Above
can. Now you can. You see I mean, when I was, cause
I
I'm
get it.
I'm a little bit younger than you guys. Yeah, I've seen some scandalous outfits.
Just because they
in high
did it doesn't
school.
mean they were
Yeah, that's
allowed.
what I'm
Could you
saying.
imagine what it's like?
Doesn't
now?
mean they were
I don't
allowed.
know. I
You know?
mean,
I'm just saying.
They were
I'm
always
just
told
saying.
what to do. They were always told what to wear.
so,
It
I'm
doesn't matter what
boil
what
this
the
down.
problem
Is it?
I'm
is
more
it
worried-
A
I'm
child
more
in a mask
worried-
is what drives you crazy.
No, I'm more worried about
It's the mask.
No, I'm more worried about what this could potentially do to the mental of all of these kids, as opposed to possibly catching coronavirus
I
and
don't know.
passing it on to someone
I see
who might die.
I see a lot
you know,
of
like,
kids-
it's just like it's again, and I'm not trying to downplay it. I don't know how else to say this, but the way I know how
So
to say it.
can I ask you a question?
So
has any of your children asked you what's going on?
yeah, of course, Abley is very in tune to this.
Okay.
Yeah, your kid's like a
No, that's
savant.
great. So
His kid, I
what's
should
your
say.
answer? What do you say? What's happening here?
When she says, you know, Daddy, can we go to the park? Okay, mind you, this was a few months ago now. Daddy, can we go to the
fair
park?
enough.
No, we can't. The park's closed. Why is the park closed? Well, because coronavirus.
That's it? You say it like that?
Yeah, because of coronavirus.
Okay.
Was he gonna go on a Cuomo monologue?
No,
to his
I'm not
kid?
saying. I'm not gonna say quarter mile.
She's very well aware.
I'm not gonna give you quarter mile.
Daddy, why can't we go to
Hold
Grandma's?
on.
Well, because
Guess what?
Because Lincoln caught coronavirus. Yeah, but he's not sick. I know.
Okay.
Why do we have to stay home? I don't
You know what? I'll give you a true story because I know this is why I asked that question. So I go jogging in a park. It's near an elementary school, and I go jogging, and then there was this kid. I don't know. He looked like he was 10 years old, and he's wandering by himself by the school, touching the doors, and I'm doing my workout, and then he walks up to me out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, great. Last thing I want to do is be around people's kids. So, the kid, just that's
Fatty
any kid.
Gene.
No, it was a black kid. It's just any kids. I don't want to be around nobody's kids.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything about
throw
color.
the race in
No,
there.
I'm just saying. 'Cause I didn't want you guys thinking I was scared about white kid because I'd be scared of that too. But I'm saying,
I know. I'm aware. I thought.
yeah.
You're sitting in a white guy's house.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm
What do
just
you mean?
saying. If I were walking around and there was a white kid out of nowhere, you best believe Gene's calling 911. I'm not grabbing, holding your hand, pulling nowhere. You're not like I'm not that. Like, listen,
he's
we can
not-
talk about it another day. But listen, Linda.
I love
okay, back to this kid. So this kid walks up to me, and you know what he tells me? He's like, I want to go inside. I'm like, what the hell? Why me? So I'm like, the school's closed. He's like, why? I want to go inside. I want to play. I want to do this. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, not my child. How much information can I explain to this kid? I feel for him because maybe this was his place of refuge.
Should have pointed
Sure.
him around the building.
No, I didn't do that.
You should have been like, yeah, the
Don't
door's
worry,
over there.
the story does get interesting.
You little shit, go over there.
I'm like, listen, unfortunately, there's something happening. I said, I can't explain to you exactly, but it keeps people from being around each other in big crowds.
Why soften it though? Why not just say
Coronavirus?
coronavirus?
Yeah.
All right, Cardi B. Like,
Coronavirus.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, what does that mean to him? It's not softening it. Who
cares?
I have to.
What does
dumb it
that
down a
mean to
little
you?
bit. Coronavirus, what does it mean to me? What it means is that there is some sort of disease, bacteria, whatever you want to call it, that is
Viral. It's virus.
keeping us from being able to be in proximity of each other. That's it.
Okay.
And right now, we're searching hard to figure out how to slow it down, stop the spread, and eventually cure it. So in the interim, we have to figure out how to, I guess, normalize that process. And I think that people are confusing normalizing,
Yes.
trying to solve this process, normalizing social distancing, and being safe with some type of tyranny from our government. Like me, like when
I mean, regardless, call it what you want. It is
No, but I'll give you an
tyranny
example.
from our government. It's
I'll
an
give you an example.
authoritarian approach to a problem.
The
you
guy
know?
in the car with a face mask.
we just all obey by
No,
it. You
listen,
know?
I'm not. Okay,
Let me just state this one because it sounds like I'm an anti-masker.
I didn't say
I'm not
that.
an anti-masker here.
You're an anti-mask guy.
It's no.
now I said it. But go ahead.
Well, this is why I'm not. It's because like when I go to 7-Eleven in the morning to get my coffee. Sorry, Ronnie, you're just not open in time.
No, 8-ish,
Yes.
8:30-ish.
Shout out to
I'm
Coffee
into two
Booths.
cuffs by then, and I'm off with the kids.
Okay.
So when I go into 7-Eleven, they have a sign on the door
that says you must wear
that
a mask.
says
to enter.
I must wear a mask to enter. Now
Okay.
that's their policy.
Uh-huh.
They're a private establishment. I'll put on the mask. I put
Okay.
on the mask. I go in there. I do my coffee. I say hey to my guy. If it's just him and I, and he doesn't have his mask on, I don't put my mask on.
Okay, that's your choice. I'm not saying
And
it's
that's
right, but
it.
it's your choice.
But I'm just saying it's because I know
Don't
he's
dime out
cool
that
with it.
7-Eleven.
I know.
No one likes snitches.
He's cool with it. I'm cool with it. We're the only two people in there. I know you're clean. I watch you wash your hands constantly behind that counter.
I
You
know,
know
but-
I'm clean
but-
because I'm just
once
fucking
again,
clean. But
But
Fucking clean,
but,
all
but
right?
But you're making
What I don't
you're making my
like-
exact point. I think that
what I don't like is the mandate from the state. That should never be.
so you want our
in
you want
America.
our governor to get on television and go, guys, we have an issue.
I
Hold on.
highly suggest
I would
that
like you to
yes.
wear a mask.
Yes.
So-
I highly
Because that
suggest
works in
that you
America.
wear a mask.
But here's my question. Okay,
And guess what?
I give
That
you
ain't gonna
credit.
work.
Hold on.
Those of you who
have freedom.
don't wear masks, if you start contracting the virus, that's your choice.
No
You
one chooses.
chose-
No one
the
chooses to get a virus.
The problem
No one
is you
chooses to get a
could
virus.
spread it.
Gene.
People choose to protect themselves from it, but no one chooses to get the virus, and that's exactly the point.
Listen,
The point is,
If
listen,
you
you know why people are told what to do. You know why people have mandates. It's like your child. You know why? Because when given the option, more people will do it than the ones who are told not to do it. So if we walked in there right now and we said, it's your choice to do it or not, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get the people that go, it's my choice, so I don't really have to do it. Not a big deal. Boom, boom. You're going to get a couple of responsible people that go, you know what? I'm worried about myself, my family. I'm going to wear it.
You're gonna get common sense folk, intelligent people
Where?
who,
What?
who can no
Where?
who,
Who? Where?
What are you talking about? So
They make those?
So you're saying that everyone in America is dumb and can't make a cognitive
No,
thought?
I didn't say that.
Well,
not.
that's basically what you're saying. Is that
What I'm saying.
so? What I'm saying is,
what I'm saying-
you have people who are
Motherfuckers want a haircut.
intelligent, who are intelligent. You have people who are intelligent,
Okay.
and can make calculated risks for themselves.
Okay, Jess.
That's
Listen, you're a proud American. I'm a proud American. You're trying to tell me that
Careful.
there are more intelligent people in a social crisis and a medical crisis than not. The same country that I watched them tell us to wash our hands for 2 months. Because that happened. Like, that's never going to go away. On TV,
Don't touch your face.
Staying
Don't
alive.
touch your
Staying
face.
alive. I'm like, why are they telling people to sing?
Right.
Like, you can't count to 20. Oh yeah, we changed math.
okay.
But, like,
what I
are
don't,
you
what I don't
kidding
understand
me?
is,
Like,
is that that's still the best way to fight against any virus.
Okay,
is to wash your hands.
okay, Jesse.
regularly.
Okay, Jesse.
I mean that's just that's scientific
Jesse.
fact forever.
Jesse.
at this point.
I agree with you. Do you know?
You think a crowded club, everyone's with washed hands, is not going to spread a disease?
no, but again, if there's a pandemic, are you going to a crowded club? Are you going to go to a
Jesse,
crowded club?
if
you choose
Jesse-
to go to a crowded club, then you choose to
But
put
Jesse,
yourself in that position.
if you have a pandemic and you make things that you believe as a leader
Mm-hmm.
optional, then the people will not interpret it as a pandemic. It will now be like, it's bad, but it ain't that bad because they're telling me I
so
could
why
kind
don't
of,
we do this every flu season?
And that's a great argument.
Because they have
they have vaccine.
a vaccine.
That's why. But it's still a good argument.
Okay, but you're not forced to to get the vaccine.
No.
No.
You're not forced to get a flu shot. In fact, you're kind of shunned to get flu shots. You save it for the elderly
you know
and the
why?
children.
It's the incubation period.
But now, again,
And
it's
the understanding,
why
there's
are
more
we-
understanding of flu than there is of COVID. That we do not know as much as we need to know to
Right,
feel
so it's
comfortable
scary.
to make.
it's scary people. It's scaring people.
No, you're right.
Because
it's
we
scary.
Don't know. So
not knowing
what
is scary.
we do is we comply and put on a mask because some stranger on television said that that's the best thing to do. Instead of
Can I ask you a
knowing
question?
yourself.
Do you
hold
think-
on. Instead of knowing yourself and taking good personal care of yourself and building your immune system. I'm not saying this, and again, I'm not denying corona. I have to constantly say this, but I tell you what, my
goes
uncle,
deeper than that.
My uncle had coronavirus.
Okay.
I went down to his house unknown that he had coronavirus.
Okay.
For 4th of July. He cooked us food all weekend long. I stayed in his house. We didn't socially distance from one another. We were sharing cigars. I definitely swapped beers with him because we had the same koozies. Have no idea how many times that could have possibly happened.
Okay.
He's a koozie, huh?
I didn't catch coronavirus.
I'm still
so now
upset.
this, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't catch it. My wife didn't catch it. My other 2 kids didn't catch it. My 2-year-old caught it.
Okay.
No one else that stayed at the house caught it. No one else in his immediate family. 2 of my cousins who have...
And he 100% had it.
And he 100% had it. He was sick, in bed. Probably 2 days after we left, it hit him hard. And he was in bed. And Uncle, you just like me. We don't get sick. And if you do, you go run it out. He couldn't move.
Jesse sweated out.
He couldn't move. So how bad is this really?
Hey, listen, it's a good.
I know, but
I would understand why you're so skeptical of a lot of things
I understand
too.
why you're
Why
skeptical.
are we
but-
shutting
I would
down
too.
society?
Yeah, but my thing is that so if
It's out of
Jesse
fear.
so if Jesse wasn't here, and we spoke to an emergency EMS or
Who
a
watched
nurse,
a lot of people die from it.
so then we'd be going
Which I
even
know
worse.
people.
We'd be super because we'd be super scared.
How about an ICU
Because
nurse?
he went from
The opposite way.
He's the opposite way. So
because he lived something.
because he lived something, and it's not an attack on you, but I think that's the whole point. I think that people are personalizing their understanding and their experience with corona.
I'm glad you said that because I think that people can't have a thought of their own anymore, and they solely rely on other people telling them what is real and what is happening.
I think-
because if you don't buy into the narrative, you're shamed.
I don't think it's a narrative. I think that you pride yourself.
Look
on,
at anyone on, because you keep bringing up Facebook, right? Look at anyone on Facebook that goes against the narrative of coronavirus. You're immediately attacked and ripped apart, personally attacked. And it's like, why is this a personal
You know
attack?
why? You know
First
why?
of all, you have your mask
I-
on, so if I don't have mine on, you should be straight, right? Because
Yeah,
your
but that's-
mask is holding back
But
your
that doesn't make
particles.
sense. That doesn't make sense.
Of course it does.
I'll tell you why it doesn't make sense.
Because your mask is holding in your particles from getting into me.
I
it
know,
doesn't
but
help him come in. Coming in is the issue, and coming out is the issue. What it does is it lowers the percentage.
You guys not realize how insane this is.
Why?
not
It
insane
lowers
because-
the percentage.
because-
Is that not?
Jesse, it's not even
A
that.
bad
It's not
thing?
even,
You just
Is that a
said
good thing?
it blocks particles from
It
going
does
out
it
instead
blocks
of coming
more particles
in.
going out than coming in. Because
Jesse.
if it's airborne, and you got cloth like this, that doesn't block certain things down to certain microns.
Okay.
So once you get down to a certain micron,
Right. Well,
Okay,
if
that-
you're standing
That's
up,
why there's
if you're standing
N95,
up, it's different.
K95.
not only that, but
N100,
and I'm gonna
K100.
and I'm gonna add to what he's saying.
I'm just saying, I think it's, yes. And the fact that everyone is so, fucking mask pros now, it's like that just
I know, I
goes
have
to
to learn
show.
it.
But
But
listen,
that just goes to show how,
Took a
in my
class on it.
opinion, how ridiculous it is.
I know, but Jesse,
Right. And your masks, this is unacceptable
That's
in
not
what
true.
you need. You need
This,
a cartridge
yes.
mask.
how dare
to
you say
block-
that about your wife's mask?
I'm
That's
just,
fucked
it's a
up.
paper,
That's
it's a
fucked up.
cloth
You're a piece
mask.
of
'Cause
I know,
now,
but-
now they're coming out saying that cloth masks are probably the best ones because they'll absorb some of the particles coming
Yeah.
out.
And also the other
but
shit that I'm
also we
breathing
were
out.
supposed to socially distance and wear masks to what? To flatten the curve so we don't overexhaust our medical workers.
And New York
Correct.
did they
And
not?
New York did.
And now
and Jesse
it's,
still doesn't like him.
what do you mean?
We did flatten
on.
the curve here.
I'm talking about
Of course, we were always going to flatten the curve.
What?
Whether or not
Explain that the other one
it's
then.
cyclic.
Why do you think that?
Because it's cyclic, like every other virus season.
So
what do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Okay.
Not everyone got coronavirus.
Right. Not everyone is going to get coronavirus.
No, but Jesse, no.
the fuck
That's
knows?
unfair because what you're doing is you're trivializing everything that was done to get to the point. If everything was open and people didn't wear masks and we conducted
would be
business
way
as
worse.
usual, it would be worse. The reason we are where we are,
I mean, we don't know that because we didn't do that.
What do you mean we don't know
yeah,
that?
we have Florida.
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying. What do
And
you
like
mean?
9 other states. What do you mean?
I don't even know what you guys are talking about because Florida's only big problem is down in Miami. The rest of the state is apparently fine.
So far,
that
we
is
have
just
Miami.
coming from people that I know in
and
Florida
Miami
that have
is
said.
a metropolitan,
And
so
mind
is New
you,
York.
all of the people down in Florida that attacked me, they said, "Since when did you start listening to the media?" That was the response
I know,
to me,
but-
and I was like,
but Jesse,
what do you mean?
I don't think-
Aren't you guys blowing up
Jesse-
down there?" They're like, "No,
Jesse, I don't think,
Miami is."
Yeah,
Oh.
but I don't think it's fair because I'll tell you this. I think that, so first things first, I think that we have trained professionals, whether you like them or not, they are paid to do certain things, right? So now we have someone that's in charge of health communication in the world. I'm not mentioning no names, so I don't want to start a drama. We have a Surgeon General. We have CDC. We have actual doctors who run whatever. Then you have media. Their job is to convey the news. Now, do they sensationalize it? 1,000%. But I'm talking about their jobs. So their job is to give you the news. Now
Which they can lick all of the
now
dicks
you as a citizen,
about.
or you as the viewer, the American, it's your job to now take all this information and say what is actually happening right now. Now, I'll give you a good example. Back to the school that, nobody wants to talk about what they're learning or what they're not learning in school. Because I went to Brooklyn Tech, so I'm going to tell you about some stuff. When you do a science project and not that bullshit volcano that everyone did, because I didn't get that luxury. I had to do a real one.
Yeah.
So you have to you have your hypothesis, what you think is going to happen. I'm going to do this, and this is what I'm going to be doing. Then you have to test it, and then as you're doing all this stuff, the science changes. So all the information and what's happening with America, because they're confusing the disinformation that happens in politics. They just took the coronavirus and just lumped it in it. There is 1,000% a disinformation practice. Hold on, in our country when it comes to,
Everything?
everything. So when it comes to the background
You're trying to broaden
of
that.
candidates, when it comes to what they did in their past, when it comes to how money is spent, financial, fiscal spending, all that, yes. But when it came to the coronavirus, and you're going to be shocked about this because I have an interesting take on that too. When it came to coronavirus, because it was a moving target and people were trying to do it, what people did, instead of understanding that that's how science works, that you come up with a premise, you prove it either right or wrong. Like that's the goal is to prove it right or
science.
wrong. You want to
Right.
prove a fact, a truth. You're not trying to prove it right. You're not trying to prove it. You're trying to prove a truth. So once you do that, you proceed to the next step or you start over. So it's a moving target. So Americans, as the information is coming, the first thing you need to know is they don't know everything. They're figuring out as they go. The second thing you need to understand is, okay, so yeah, you have media showing you how many people are dying, and like you did, you were intelligent enough to harp on the mortality rate. So you're saying, okay, this many people die, but this is how many people die. But then once again, here's the problem with science again. We don't have an actual testing mechanism. Like, okay, we test 100,000 people here, and
Well,
this is what happened.
That's what I was going to get to.
What's happening is it's a big ball of numbers. So what happens is, which is why common sense can't work, because, back to the mask, with all this information I take in, I have one guy that says you should wear a mask. I have one guy that says you shouldn't wear a mask. I have 150,000 people that died in the...
Let me just clarify. I'm not trying to say whether someone should or should not wear masks. I think that it should be solely up to the individual
but what-
to either wear a mask or not
The
wear a
reason
mask.
why I
What
want...
he's getting at is that person could be getting false information or bad information
Also, that
and making a
person can
decision
also
on
be
that.
making very poor decisions.
And that's
because
the problem.
That person is... Because you have the ability to rationalize or to take in information and make an educated decision. Some people don't. Some people summarily dismiss this. And you know what I think to myself when I see someone that just blows it off? I assume they don't wash their hands either, because that probably sounds stupid.
Right.
Wash your hands, staying alive,
see what
staying
you're
alive.
saying. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, that person probably thought that was dumb.
Right.
Social distance, that person
Gets in your face when he talks.
not
Sure.
just
Yeah,
my
I see what
face.
you're saying.
That person
those
goes
people.
to bars. He's in everyone's face.
Close talkers.
He's-
Fuck
yeah,
you.
Yeah, close talkers are the worst.
Ah.
That person. So to me, when you set a guideline, sometimes you set an extreme because the only way to get people who won't follow it at all to follow it a little bit is to make it hard on everyone. But when you're someone like me who...
No. What you're saying is the only way to make everybody comply is to mandate it with force.
What force? What can happen to you if you don't wear a mask? You can't go into the store. It's your problem.
What do you mean?
That's your choice.
No. I mean, like there are talks of fines now.
I know, but we haven't gotten there yet. As of right now,
some states have.
As of right now, if you don't wear a mask, you can't go in places. That's your choice. The same way you keep talking about choice.
Agreed.
The building has a rule. They can get fined as a business. And because of that, they put a sign that says...
Listen, I agree with you 100%. Is that and that's what I was saying before. Is that's why I'm not an anti-masker, because I wear my mask. I don't want to go in.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Do you believe if we wore masks, let's say sooner, let's say we all did it for a month or two, do you believe that the numbers would be a lot lower and maybe we'd...
When you say we all, you mean like every single person?
Let's say every American was all on board for this. And we all wore masks. Do you think we would have beat this?
Oh, it's no.
Okay, that's fair.
No, I don't. I think because regardless, it was an influx of a virus at that peak season for it. And that's why things diminish down. Now, yes, do we have uptakes in other areas that have high travel? Sure. Absolutely.
At not peak times?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, like Miami, why did Miami spike? Probably because there's a lot of rich people in inner cities that were tired of it and escaped to their...
That's exactly what happened.
You know what I mean?
That's exactly what happened.
And then boom, and then they brought it to them from there.
Where do New Yorkers go in the winter?
To the Hamptons.
And the old ones go to Arizona.
Or to Florida.
And the old ones go to Arizona.
Exactly.
In the winter, they don't go to Hamptons, they go down to Florida.
I'm saying in the summertime, and that's why they were worried
this
about
time they're like, screw it, we're getting
upticks,
out of New York.
on Long Island and whatnot.
But you talk a lot about...
We got to wrap this,
okay.
wind it down so we can do one more thing.
Okay, we talk a lot about...
all I'm saying is everyone should be safe, take the necessary precautions, but all I'm saying is just keep a weary eye on how much you are willing to belly up to the state, because it's, in my opinion, most people and most systems of authority, once they have some power,
let it go.
They don't let it go.
Okay,
that's normal.
I'll maybe...
That's my worry. That's all.
My take is this. I have not seen something yet in this whole mass situation that has risen my cause for alarm. The alarm that I get is from the...
Really? I mean, Cuomo is telling you that chicken wings aren't sufficient enough.
Why are you bringing up chicken wings?
To be able to have
an
alcoholic beverage.
How dare him?
You know what my answer to that is? My answer to that is...
Who the fuck are you, King Cuomo?
All right, slow down.
That would be mine.
Slow
Who
down.
the fuck are you, guy?
My answer to that is it's an extreme response to a simple problem. We all know how bars work because we all bartend. He doesn't want lanes of people. He doesn't want too deep. What he's trying to do...
He should have just said, you have to have a seat.
That's exactly what...
That's all he should have said.
But guess what? You know
You
what?
have to
you
sit
know when
down.
you said...
He shouldn't, because he's not the king.
You know what you said? When you
He's not
because
our
if you have
emperor. He's not our king.
Jesse, this is not about emperor or king. This is about
just
but
trying
it
to
is.
stopping the spread.
Listen,
stopping the spread.
It
For
stopped.
you to stop this, it did
stopped.
not. It did
We're
not.
under 1% here.
Bro,
But there's a percentage.
Listen,
And guess what? It's going to come
You know
back.
what you are?
It's going to come back
You
in
are
November.
the guy that's running the race,
We'll
is
see.
winning, and starts looking around and starts waving at fans. Cross the finish line. We didn't
Word.
cross the finish
Word.
line.
Thank you.
Stop
Bro, I
waving
like
at
that
fans.
one.
Stop waving.
I like that one.
Stop
That's just
waving
funny.
at fans. Like, yes, we're winning. I'm not going to stop playing. We're winning. We're not going to stop playing. I will not be. That's it.
Well, then all I'm saying is then we're never going to see the change that we need if we all just belly up and rely.
I'm going to give
on
you.
the
I'm
rule
going to
of
use
the
a
state.
line
That's
that
all
you
I'm saying.
told me once in a different conversation.
Here we go.
You told me.
I love it.
I don't see exactly what you're talking about, but when it crosses that line, I'll be the first one with you, ready to fight him. The line, to me, there's no line that's been crossed where, you literally wear a mask, you walk in, you take it off, and you eat, you
All right,
talk,
I hate to say this.
and you spit on the waiter. All day
thanks.
long. I'll take a
for us.
fajita, pow, poo, 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 pew, pew, pew. That's what happens. And then you go to the bathroom
all right,
and you don't wash your
I want
hands,
you to
and you
admit this
spike
then.
your hair, and then you go back to your table with no. This is what's still happening.
I want you guys to admit this then to me,
Go ahead.
and I'll concede and I'll close my mouth from here
Go
on.
ahead.
Yeah, right.
Close concessions.
You guys are okay with taking away civil liberties for money.
For money. Oh, you
Yes.
mean like getting? Oh, you mean my money?
Yeah.
I'm lost.
You're okay with
Them making
the
you wear a
state
mask?
mandating things as long as you're getting
Paid.
money, unless you're getting paid. Because you would
I'm still lost. Like,
you're
I'm getting
okay.
paid.
You're okay with mask wearing because you make your money in restaurants, and the only way for restaurants to be open is if people wear
No,
masks.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that when presented with a rule, working in a restaurant, I will comply with the rule because I don't see the net. Okay, I'll give you an example. Somebody on my Facebook posted something about a gym. This guy, he keeps getting in trouble. And you know what I said? Because we're in America, we're supposed to adapt. We're supposed to be, business is fluid. And you're supposed to, like, I'm a consultant. I consult with people from time to time. I'm like, why wouldn't they just get a tent and move the gym equipment outside and just charge people to lift weights outside? And he's like, oh, that's really
a lot of
smart.
people did that,
I go,
yeah.
I go, so I don't understand. I don't, like, to me, if
Well, my restaurant put more tables outside.
yeah, your question is, if there is a business or a person,
Well, good
that
business-minded
cannot-
people will
that-
always advance.
That's my point.
Regardless.
So-
but it doesn't mean that it's right that they should have to.
I think in the middle of a, I'm going to tell you something.
The best way I could explain
Yeah.
it is this, and we'll wrap this up, right?
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to get flack for this one, but I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago, Dr. Jordan Peterson was under scrutiny because, and he was painted as this, anti or transphobic, person because he went to battle with the Canadian government who was mandating that people change the way they speak. And he says
That hasn't passed yet,
and,
though.
And he said,
And
I
they
have
don't know if it
no
will."
problem if a student of mine is transgender and comes up and says, I would prefer for you to identify me as he or she, or I have no problem doing that. My problem is the state mandating that we all do
Where you
this.
can
And
go to-
that's
yeah,
all I'm
get a
saying
fine
is
or go to
that
jail.
that's my only issue. That's why I say I have no problem if I walk into your establishment and you're like, "Excuse me, sir, in order to come in here, you need to have your proper, face shield on." Okay, no, my
Okay.
fault. I'll pop it on. But
Yeah,
when
but-
the state
but
comes down
can I
and
tell you what would
says
happen?
you must,
I'm with
that's
you,
where
but
I have
can
a
I tell you
problem.
exactly what would happen?
Yeah.
In the name of capitalism, you know what would happen? JP would open the bar that doesn't do masks. He'd be fucking.
He wouldn't be allowed to. He would get shut down by the SLA and
No,
the
you're saying-
cops that
you're
have
saying- no,
that
you're-
have
no, you're
AKs
saying-
strapped
you're
to their
saying
chest.
You would rather not come from the state, and you would rather the business tell you.
Yes.
So now me, who cares about humanity, who cares about Americans, whatever, I'm going to be like, yo, if you come into this bar, you need to wear a face mask because I want to help flatten the curve, stop the transmission. JP wants to make money. JP's going to be like, yo, no mask over here. He'll be 15 deep
Yep.
with a bunch of people getting...
Maybe.
No, not
Maybe.
You
No,
and
no.
I both know.
You can't say that definitely. There are, especially here on Long Island, I'm just saying there are a lot of people.
I'm not going to say the name of the bar, but it happened already in
Exactly.
Patchogue.
Yeah.
We both know the owner.
Okay.
Okay.
And you know what? And you know
they-
what
all
I
those
said?
motherfuckers were in there.
And guess what?
And you probably said
Breathing
this
on
to
each
them.
other.
And how many of those people died of coronavirus?
None, but
know.
that's not the point. It would happen because it got stopped. We don't know.
It happened. What happened
But
one night?
we don't know.
And guess
But do
what?
you get my point?
I
That-
called the owner
What
the
if it
next
hap-
morning and I was like, "You're a true American hero, and I love you."
But do
what
you
if it happened for 2
But
weeks
do
straight
you realize that...
and 40 people
No.
died?
What
Then what?
I mean,
We don't know
We're
because
out
it's-
hypotheticals
but point
here.
being
I know,
is
but
we
what-
don't know
but
'cause it didn't
Jesse-
happen.
So again, you guys are okay with government mandates suppressing.
I'm not okay with being fined, but I'm okay with
I'm gonna
them
tell you what
saying
I'm okay with.
You
Ready?
gotta wear a mask.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm okay with government being proactive instead of reactive. If that's what you're asking me, because to me, this is a proactive approach to solve a problem.
And I'm fine with proactive approaches as long as it doesn't infringe on freedoms.
You don't.
And
You have not
personal
lost a freedom.
choices. Yes, I did.
What freedom have you lost?
I am mandated. My daughter, in order to go to a public school that my tax dollars pay for, must wear a mask. If not, she is not allowed.
So to
I
you,
just don't
so
like
you
the
the
school
mask.
thing
The mask
because-
is
They always told us what to do.
So to you, the mask is you lost the right to choose.
Yes.
I think that's an extreme point of view. Like, because I'm trying to wrestle. Like, what's the freedom that he lost? So
Okay,
the freedom
Gene,
to choose
from
to
now
choose
on-
not to wear it.
From now on,
Will
on
you
Mondays,
get in trouble if your kid doesn't go to school?
From now, yes, of course. That's CPS.
yeah, CPS.
You kidding me? From now on Mondays, you must wear a red Yankee hat. Well, I don't like the Yankees. I don't care. You must wear a red Yankee hat in order to go.
But what is that? Is that
Does this stop
what
me
does that have
from
to do with
dying? Does it
pandemics?
stop me from spreading lice? Like, what am I
It's-
doing?
It's just a government mandate. You must
But
do
this
this.
is not
There's-
just a government
it's-
mandate.
there's never
But
been
it's
a
medically-
taking away your
it's
There's
choice.
never been a government mandate for
it's
no
medically
reason.
backed. The governor,
Whether
Cuomo-
you think the reason is wrong, there's never just they just haven't gotten
Right.
it.
Well,
No, he
that's
didn't wake
and
up
that's
one
the
day
whole
and go,
point.
"Yo, I
is
want
that
basketball one."
I just don't think
But
that.
what if you're wrong?
I don't think that
the problem.
coronavirus is as big of a deal as we're making it
I
to
know,
be.
but- Okay.
But what if you're wrong?
Then I'm wrong.
That's the
You know,
problem.
Yeah,
then-
but the difference is,
I'd rather be wrong with this dumb
exactly.
thing.
If I wear this and I'm wrong,
I'd rather be
all
wrong.
I did was not spit on it.
And that's fair,
If
and that's
you-
fine.
If
And
you're
you
wrong,
guys, and that's cool. You guys are okay with that. I'm saying I'm not. I see the bigger problem, and I want to change the way that our systems are run and get the government to work for the people again.
I know, but the bigger problem
That's
hasn't
it.
happened yet. Like, you're seeing Bigfoot. The bigger problem has not happened yet.
What do you mean? It's currently happening. There are
Happening
people that have
or
lost their
happened?
livelihoods because they shut down their businesses. They
Yes,
took
and that's a
away
problem.
people's choices
I
to
think-
do the
I think
right
that's
thing.
sad, but I
Gene,
believe I'm willing
they
to bet
took
they could have
away.
they could have adapted. I'm
They
willing to believe
took
it.
away their choices
Not
to
everyone.
even do the
I think
right
you could
thing.
do hair
Well,
outside.
hold on, Gene.
I think you could put barbers shops outside. You could have tents
You
outside.
could have. You could have.
Outside wouldn't
you
have been
could
the problem.
You could have done that,
Why?
but they shut them down.
Yeah.
They didn't give them a chance to do the right thing. The state came in and said, "Nope, we don't know what the fuck we're doing, so neither do you guys. Shut it down." And that should never be allowed. That is not what we're founded on.
I agree, but I also
That is tyrannical rule. If they gave people the choice and they fucked up their choices,
which
then
happens
you
all the time.
step-
There's
then you-
places that have multiple fines.
then you step
multiple.
in-
How do you get more than one?
then you step in as a public, health issue or whatever the fuck they want to paint it. But again, they didn't even give these business owners a chance. You're gonna see a slew of places up for rent, up for sale.
I believe that.
You know,
Yeah.
it's already happening. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen when they go, well, I guess we just gotta print more money so that we can send out another stimulus check.
They're doing that already.
Right. They're just gonna manufacture more
Bro,
money.
Bro, listen, we owe China.
And then that brings us into another
We owe China.
whirlwind
The world owes
of-
the Decepticons. Like
of how the-
I
you
don't
know,
know. I don't know who these
Federal
world
Reserve
debts are. And
pushes out the most counterfeit bills.
I officially do not care about national debt or global debt. These are terms and concepts, in my opinion.
Right,
and we
but
can
you're,
talk about it anytime
but you're
you
going
want.
to when inflation goes through the roof because we just we did the same thing that
The problem
FDR
about the-
did
the problem about
and
the-
just made up
I get
numbers
it,
and
I get
inflated
it, but
things, and then we
Has to
hit
do with
another.
international trade. That's the problem with the power of the dollar.
I understand, but
And if they
I
see
think
we
that
have-
You're gonna
way
care
more
when
of
our
it.
economy crashes and we
You know.
hit a big recession or we hit a depression.
I'm willing to bet our economy will not crash, regardless of who.
I agree right now
Regardless of who.
because the Federal Reserve will just keep counterfeiting bills out there.
And I think that even if we have inflation, it'll happen for a time and then it'll reset itself.
All right.
The
all
market
right.
always
All right, you
resets itself.
motherfuckers.
Again.
Shut up for 5 seconds.
All right.
Holy shit.
Wash your hands, wear your mask.
Wash your hands.
If
They're
you
not
have
doing
to.
that still? Let me do my hair.
All right, here's one for Jesse.
Oh,
Real
boy.
quick before we end. Jesse wants to do a ranking system, and I want to try it. But I don't want to do it about mayonnaise. It's just
All right, let me set the ground
such a
rule here.
foodie like mayonnaise.
I was
feel like-
talking to my cousins.
Where's the best mayonnaise that you can get?
I was talking to my cousin's husband, and he
See, I
actually
can't say
has.
mayonnaise. It's mayo.
Justin has a ton of good ideas, and
Oh,
he even said he's like, I've always wanted to do a podcast. I just have never had basically the balls to do it. Right?
I will get him on.
So we were discussing just hanging out in the garage. We were discussing what did we bring? It was I forgot how it got brought up, but it was what fast food place has the best mayonnaise, and I'm like Burger King, hands down. You know, like I want to know what mayonnaise Burger
bet
King
you it's the
actually
same
uses.
mayo.
And then someone else chimed in and they were like, "No way! Like you're out of your mind. Arby's mayonnaise is the best mayonnaise." And I'm like, "Arby's? That shit's disgusting."
even know they had mayonnaise.
You know, right? So we were going
fuck
back and
no.
forth, and then that's how he said he goes. That would be a good segment right there. Rushmore rankings, where you throw
All
out
right,
something.
no. We're gonna do it. We're gonna
blah, blah, blah,
Rushmore
blah, blah.
rankings
Right?
Go ahead, go for it.
V1.0.
Okay.
So since we were all restaurants, we've all been in corporate for how long? We've all worked it. So why don't you rank the corporate restaurant from Fridays, Chili's, Applebee's?
Well, you can't throw them out here. What if I don't like any of them?
Tough shit.
It's just
gotta-
corporate restaurants. How about that?
Where-
and then,
where-
we,
where you
and then
would
we
eat?
all have to agree on at least the top 4.
Shit in the
Where,
making.
where you
people.
would eat? Or where you...
Where do you think was the best?
Corporate structure or...
No, food.
Oh, okay.
What is this shit?
all right.
Corporate
Food.
structure. Who's gonna take my advice about corporate structure?
Yeah,
The
that's a
fat
great
kid in the
point.
back with his no, it's not gonna happen.
Where would I eat?
Come on.
I think I got mine
You worked
already.
for Fridays. The problem is, you know what they did in the back. So let's you could take out.
I will
Fridays.
say, okay, so are we
I
saying
wouldn't
current
do
day or... Because
All time?
current day Fridays, I don't even think is on the list anymore. Back in the day,
All right.
in like the
That's
early
interesting.
2000s,
That's interesting.
Fridays was probably number 1 because they still handmade things. I remember going in and having to make blue cheese dressing.
Hula Hands, I feel like Hula Hands
Yep.
always made it better.
Hula Hands?
that's
Yeah,
my-
yo,
that's
Hula
my
Hands
vote.
was always...
Hula Hands made
Best
better-
fajitas
better-
ever.
And no, not only that, but they made soups that were amazing to scratch.
that
Their
potato
sides were
soup.
really good.
Sure.
You know,
Burr.
and Houston's fell apart, but Houston's was really good.
I never went to Houston.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever
Houston's
eaten
was
there.
good.
JP's
Really good.
going to hate me for this one, but this is definitely in my top here.
What?
Cracker Barrel. Love Cracker Barrel. Probably one of the best chain restaurants ever.
I'm not too sold on them.
It was a big divide in the band because it was 4 of us
Cracker
at one
Barrel.
point, and 2 of them loved it, and 2 of us hated it.
Yep.
It was,
Wait a minute, Cracker Barrel, is that the one with the desserts?
That's the Southern food.
Yeah, and they give you. That's not the one where you
and
get.
there's candy in the front office thing
There's like
area.
a shop
whatever the hell
in
it's
the- in
called.
Is that
where
like
you
a
can
buffet
shop-
type style?
No,
that's Golden Corral.
Oh, Golden Corral, baby.
Yeah,
That's the
bro,
shit.
Golden Corral. That's a touring
Yeah,
musician's
Yeah, I'm
dream
like,
right
that's
there.
a winner.
Bro, we used to
That's a
go.
winner.
We used to go-
$11 and we can eat all day.
Yeah, bro.
Sign me up.
Bro.
When I walked into the dessert part, I'm like,
You
whoa.
don't even know.
I'm like, they've done it right.
Fondue. Yeah.
Golden
Bro, we
Corral.
would go.
I think I'll stop right there.
We would go
Okay.
miles out of the way on the way home from on tour, just to go
to
Golden Corral.
Yeah.
Yo, Golden
We'd be
Corral.
like, it's an
It's
hour.
good if you're broke.
It's an hour
good if
west.
you're hungry. You don't
Like,
get
fuck
both.
it.
You don't get both.
I happen to actually really like Texas Roadhouse now.
Yeah, their bread and butter. That
And-
butter.
Is that the peanuts on the floor?
Yeah.
And, bro,
Bro, it's just their
their
steaks are
their
good.
steak was shit. I don't know. I had a steak from there. It was
oh,
shit.
I had a good one. I had a few
bread
times
is-
I've been there. I thought
Eh.
it was great.
You know,
I
who
work
makes-
in a good steakhouse though
And
right now, and I
where?
make a damn fine steak myself.
Since you said
can eat that
steak-
shit.
steakhouse, I'll
Sous
tell you this.
vide.
You
Hey,
fucking with your
Outback
French-
dare you.
makes great wings. I found that out.
Outback?
Yeah,
Outback
Outback?
does make good
Someday
wings.
I
Yeah.
was like, I
Yeah.
ordered wings. I'm like, who orders wings at a steakhouse? And then I'm like, oh, these are
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
yeah.
But other than that,
A lot of
Outback-
All right,
you're
so
gonna get-
all right, how are we gonna rank these here?
I don't know, but Golden Corral
longevity?
made the
Seems
list.
like Golden
Golden
Corral.
Corral made the
That's
list.
I
I'm
feel
fighting
like
for
it's
you.
number one. You can
I'm
wait for-
fondue. I'm fighting for Golden Corral.
You know
can-
what? I'll do it.
15
I'll do
bucks.
it because the fat kid in me is just like, yeah, of course Golden
Top
Corral
5.
is number 1.
Okay.
It's totally trash, but it is fantastic.
Is it, though?
No, it's great.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking
It's
about.
great.
what
That
else?
is GMO food.
Bro,
though,
that
for
honey butter,
sure.
bro. I don't care how.
Yeah.
Fill
Yeah,
my meat with steroids.
yeah,
Let's
but
go.
you can rate all the breads really. Like you can't just do bread because Red Lobster sucks, but the bread's amazing.
I got 2
Outback's
boxes of the
bread,
biscuits in my cabinet right
Outback's
now.
bread is amazing. You know.
All right.
Yeah.
Bread is a real
Yeah.
whole different
Outback
thing.
steak is good though. They have good steak. I think they have better.
Maybe
than Texas
JP was
Roadhouse.
right. You should have thrown us a few, and then we can rank them.
Yeah.
Well, problem
Because
is
that's it. There's too many. There's too many to go through.
Trying to think what else is there. I mean, Hula
And
Hands
we're
is
only
good.
doing corporate, right?
I don't know
But
any
Hula
bread,
Hands
though.
is like done.
Yes,
Are there
Hula
any
Hands
left?
Even a corporation
They
anymore.
got
Are there
bring it
any
back.
left?
It's like saying Pizzeria Uno's.
I think Cheesecake
Oh, man.
Factory's overrated.
That's terrible.
Oh yeah, I forgot about cheesecake.
But they're not. There's
They're
some
overrated.
shit that's good in there.
Yeah.
You just
PF
got to go
Chang's.
through the encyclopedia of
Yeah.
shit.
PF Chang's is the bomb.
Boom, Bahama
I like
Breeze.
PF Chang's.
Bahama Breeze is up there.
Actually,
My wife just
actually.
whispered Chili's.
Chili's fajitas are fire.
Nah, the Hula Hands
Hold
was
on.
better.
Don't Chili's? Doesn't Chili's?
Everything Hula Hands was
Does
better.
Chili's do 2 for $10 fat margaritas or some shit like that?
I don't know.
I don't know, but they
Yeah,
have,
but
they
it
have
was
good
like-
margaritas.
it was like
What
2
about
shots.
On the Border? You been to On the Border yet?
Yeah.
Tall Sean works over there.
Really?
That's a guy named Sean who's tall.
Yeah.
We gotta go
Just
visit
for you
him.
guys.
Which one?
You'll know who he is.
Are you allowed to say?
All right,
he's
let's
the guy
go by
scraping his head on the
movie
ceiling.
theater on the LIE. There.
Oh man,
Yeah.
he'll stick out. I'll see him.
So, number one, we're going Golden Corral.
Yes.
Number two, I mean, I feel like it's got to be Fridays.
No, Houlihan's Beach Fridays. We just said
Houlihan's
it.
isn't around anymore.
So we bring it back.
Yeah,
All
but
right, Houlihan's
Fridays
is number two.
Yeah, I think
All right.
Houlihan number two
Done.
for sure.
I'm with Houlihan's number two. What's number three? You guys are going to hate me for this one, too.
oh God,
But I do. I like Miller's, man.
Miller's Ale House.
It is dirty, disgusting, blue collar food. You know what I mean? Like,
Nah, you know
When
what
we
it is?
first started working there,
I'll take
it was
the prime
shit.
rib
I'll take
sandwich
that
for
Miller's Ale House.
$9.
Okay,
I'll take that
okay.
Miller's Ale House.
When's the last time you ate at Miller's?
oh God, since
There you go.
I walked out because they wanted me to keep my brand new born babies on the bar top and have a trainee bartender watch them while I worked the service bar shift on a Tuesday night for like 8 tables. I was like, you guys got to be kidding me.
What is happening here?
Bro,
My kid's got
This is a true
cerebral
story?
palsy.
Yes!
She's having a seizure. I'm leaving. And they're like, if you leave, you don't work here anymore. Fuck you. Yeah.
he had it.
That was the footnotes of what happened. But yeah, that's that's what happened.
Essentially,
That definitely doesn't sound like.
And that right there, Gene, that ended my bartending career.
Oh, yeah, it was
and
the
I
last-
swore that I would never step foot behind a bar until I owned it.
I agree. That's fair.
Yep.
That's that. Wow.
all right. So you're still gonna give Miller's then?
You know what? No,
You know what we're gonna
principal,
do?
fuck them.
All right, good. We're gonna do an episode of horrible restaurant
Wow.
stories. So we're gonna revisit that
I
one.
just don't think they have enough seafood. Wow. Damn.
You're right. A 35 shrimp is just, that's not enough for you.
No, they got lobster one day a week. Who does
Their
that?
mahi was great.
What the hell is mahi? I don't even know.
Delicious.
I need to see the box.
The box.
I always had questions about that mahi. I'm being honest.
Whatever.
I
They-
agree.
they-
I
they-
agree.
Yeah,
shit on
man,
it.
yo, at this point, they tell you any white fish, they name it anything, and you eat it.
Yeah.
That's
Can I
like
throw
it.
Taco
All right,
Bell on this
touche.
list?
You know what? Fuck it. Yes.
You know what?
Or
Taco
is
Bell.
that, solely fast food?
No. I don't care.
I'll allow it. No.
Taco Bell. They were once, I guess, convinced to be the healthiest.
Well, no,
Grade
they
D.
technically
Grade D
are. It's
meat.
not has nothing to do with the meat. It has to do with that Fresca crap
Oh,
part of the,
right.
the menu.
I don't know,
That
man.
was why they considered it the healthiest.
Chris
fast
Porter,
food
that
chain.
comedian, said it the best. He goes, nowhere on their menu does it say food anywhere. And he's 100% right.
Wow.
He goes, it's not. That's why it's called fourth meal for a reason. I'm like, this
Oh
guy's
my
a
It could be
God.
wood
genius.
shavings. Yeah, all right.
This
Well,
guy is a genius.
I would
an
say
angry
this:
man.
the only thing I give Taco Bell is I've never seen proud marketing for stoners, for up. Why are you up?
Yeah, yeah.
like we proudly.
She
feed
just
you.
broke up with you and you're lonely.
Yeah, we proudly
Yeah.
feed you.
Yeah.
Like your life's messed up.
I'll be honest.
Do whatever you're gonna do, then come here next. like,
All right, so no, you know what? Next time we do Rush Meringues, we also do a
I don't
fast.
know.
We'll do a
Fast food
fast food
ranking?
one.
All right.
Yeah, because
so we're
that,
going
you know,
Golden Corral, Houlihan's. What was 3?
How many heads are on Mount Rushmore? 4, right?
4. Houlihan's.
Three would have to be Chili's.
We gotta go Chili's.
Yeah.
Fridays. I mean, I meant
Chili's.
Fridays.
I think Chili's got to be on that top one.
Again, I throw Fridays out there just for longevity. Like, I might not like it because I worked there for so long. But I tell you what, there are times where I'm like, yo, I want to go to Fridays and I want to go get, chicken and cheese skillet.
I mean, yeah,
even
sure.
in those days, believe it or
What
not,
was it
I
called
ended up
again?
at Applebee's.
Oh,
And now Applebee's on the
And
list.
Fridays
Yo,
chicken
bro-
bruschetta pasta was fire.
Yo, Applebee's has
a day you
bomb
say it like that in front of an
Yo.
Italian.
Bruschetta.
No.
What?
bruschetta.
Ah, get out of here with that.
I have my moments.
Oh wait, he works in an Italian restaurant.
there
That
you
don't
go.
count. Shit.
Oh man, but
I was like a pro
right,
Italian
Gene, what's
black man.
on
I was like,
third?
this is awesome.
I don't know. I'm gonna defer to you guys because I'm happy with my top 2. I feel like we did a lot here.
All right.
Happy with Golden Corral and
I'll
Houlihan's.
Yeah,
take Chili's and Fridays. I refuse to put Applebee's on that list.
I'm gonna
Why?
throw P.F.
because
Chang's.
if you had their LIT, it tastes exactly like
Yeah, but that perfect margarita.
shit.
You got to
Wow.
decide between Chili's or Fridays because I think P.F. Chang slides in that
Oh yeah,
third
P.F.
spot.
Chang's is 3.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
All right,
PF
you're
Chang's is
right
the
because that
bomb.
Mongolian beef, I could eat that
It's
shit
PF
every
Chang's
day.
fire. No, you know they make the noodles fresh. I don't know if they still do, but supposedly on your those low
All right,
things.
all right. So
they
I got to
make
choose
fresh
between. I go
Chili's or
Chili's.
Fridays?
Chili's over Fridays. Now.
Really?
Now, yeah. Now,
Wow.
yeah. For
Which
sure.
one?
Chili's over
Chooses
Fridays.
Chili's
for
over
now.
Fridays.
And their ribs are whack, and their fajitas
he's
are whack.
basically
but-
picking a fajita, which is a
No,
simple,
because their margarita, even though that shit comes out
Hey,
of its
Chili's
tap,
got a
is
good burger.
delicious. What?
They got a good burger. Chili's.
Yeah, sure.
I've had a good
Okay,
burger
who
there.
cares about burgers?
I do. The frizzled onion's a bomb.
You like onions. That's basically what you're eating then.
If it's made right.
It's a fucking burger.
All right, so Golden Corral. That's amazing.
That's wonderful.
Love
Thank
it.
you, Gene, for that.
Houlihan's, P.F. Chang's, Chili's.
Yes. And
That's
thank
our-
you
that's our
for not
top
putting
4.
Cracker Barrel on that list. Cause
No, that was making it. Not with Golden Corral.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna
it's
bring you to
disgusting.
Cracker Barrel one day, bro.
All
right, guys,
You're gonna
well-
have some turnip greens that'll change your life.
All right, we got to go. I think we went 2 hours. We were like, we'll just do the first episode. It'll be an hour, man. You know, just
No,
to get
you
us started.
said that, and then I said you're gonna get me and Gene talking
Yeah,
about
all
hot
right.
buttoned issues, and you're gonna have to cut us off.
Yeah.
And that's just
Motherfuckers,
that's
now I
what
got to
happened.
edit and shit, probably.
We didn't talk about music.
I'm gonna let it go. I'm not even gonna edit. No, we did not talk about music, which we are all music. We're gonna get the hang of this. We'll get the hang of
There's
it.
some trash going on there.
I think since I'm the guy who's gonna be talking the least, clearly,
Well, why?
because you guys just
Oh,
no way.
I can't even say what was said.
It's for the children.
Yes.
So
fine.
can I also just throw this
I don't
one
mind
out?
being the mediator.
That woman
I'm
needs
the
a
only
mask.
shithead who forgot he was wearing
Can
headphones.
I throw this one out there? Because I read the article this morning and I meant to say it to you guys.
you not put your hands all over the thing and put it on my
it's
face?
about masks.
You
all right?
motherfucker! I want you.
There was this mother who took her daughter. She put a piece of duct tape over her face, put her mask on, tied her hair up in a bun, put a ball cap on her in boys' clothes in under 3 minutes. And she says child trafficking
Can use that.
child trafficking has increased immensely because of the mandates of masks.
I'm sure so did
And
robbery.
I didn't want to throw that out in the middle because that's not an opinion of mine.
You're gonna just
I
start
don't know
this
enough
motherf-
about this, but I
yes.
read this morning, and it was definitely something that was like, what the fuck?
Way to bring down the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
Landing on your ass.
Well, we're going to
That's
have
what
to
you
talk
call it.
about that because not enough people are.